The sound of hooves breaks the silence of dawn. The sky glows gold over Heartland Ranch, but beneath that beauty lies a storm no one saw coming. In episode 5, bonds will be tested, secrets will rise, and the people who thought they had found peace will realize that peace never stays for long. Amy stands at the edge of the pasture, her eyes filled with questions she can't answer. A horse neighs in the distance, a reminder that sometimes even the most gentle hearts carry pain. This episode is not just another story. It's a moment that will change Heartland forever. The sun rises over the rolling fields of Heartland, painting everything in soft amber light. The ranch seems calm, but that calmness is fragile, like a thin layer of glass waiting to crack. Amy walks toward the stables, the sound of gravel under her boots breaking the morning stillness. It's been weeks since she started working with the new rescue horse, Shadow, a strong but troubled animal that mirrors her own unspoken worries. The horse had been mistreated before coming to Heartland, and every time Amy looks into his eyes, she sees the reflection of her own struggle to trust again. Jack watches her from the porch, his coffee steaming in the cold air. His eyes, aged and wise, carry a mix of pride and worry. He knows Amy too well, knows that when she throws herself into her work, she's trying to hide from something deeper. Behind her calm voice and steady hands, there's a pain that hasn't healed. And though he doesn't say it, Jack wonders if Amy's heart can handle another loss. Meanwhile, Lou is inside the house, flipping through papers, half listening to the sound of horses outside. She's been fighting her own battles, running the ranch, managing Maggie's diner, and holding her family together all at once. Her phone buzzes again, another business call she doesn't want to take. She stares at the screen, then silences it, choosing the rare moment of quiet over responsibility. But deep down, she knows that ignoring her problems won't make them go away. Tim, ever restless, rides in from the far pasture. He's been spending more time away lately, chasing new projects and avoiding the conversations that need to happen. There's tension in his voice when he greets Jack, a tension that's been building for weeks. Something about the way Tim avoids eye contact tells Jack there's more going on, something Tim's not ready to admit. Back at the stables, Amy brushes Shadow's coat, speaking softly to the horse. "You're safe now," she whispers, though part of her isn't sure if she believes it herself. The horse flinches slightly, still learning to trust. Amy smiles gently, hiding her own uncertainty behind calm words. The scene feels peaceful, but there's a heaviness in the air, a sense that everything could change with a single decision. The wind shifts. A truck pulls into the driveway, and Amy turns, her heart skipping a beat. The last person she expected to see steps out, someone from her past who carries both good memories and unfinished pain. Jack looks on silently, knowing that the calm morning is over. Whatever happens next will test Amy in ways she's not prepared for. As the screen fades to black, the voiceover softens. At Heartland, life never slows down. Every sunrise brings new hope and new heartbreak. And this time, Amy will have to face both. The truck door slams, and for a moment, the world feels smaller. Amy freezes, her hand still resting on Shadow's mane. The man stepping out is Finn, the one who left without warning, the one who promised to stay. Time seems to pause between them, filled with all the things neither of them ever said. Jack watches from the porch, his expression unreadable. He knows Heartland has seen its fair share of broken promises, and he can tell this meeting won't end with an easy goodbye. Finn's voice breaks the silence first. "I heard you took in another rescue," he says softly, his eyes on the horse instead of Amy. His words are calm, but they carry weight, the kind that comes from guilt. Amy nods, unsure whether to be angry or relieved that he's back. "Shadow doesn't trust anyone," she replies. "Not yet." The words sound like they're about the horse, but they're not. They hang in the air between them like a confession neither one wants to make. Lou steps out of the house, sensing the tension. She forces a smile, trying to lighten the mood, but even she can feel the storm building. "Didn't expect to see you here, Finn," she says. He smiles politely, but there's something tired behind his eyes, something that says he's not here just for a friendly visit. "I came back because I need help," he admits, "and because I can't move on from what I left behind." Inside the barn, Shadow stomps restlessly, reacting to the tension around him. Amy gently places her hand on his neck, whispering calm words. But her voice shakes not from fear, but from the memories flooding back. She remembers the nights she spent waiting for a message that never came. She remembers telling herself she was better off alone. And now, here he is, standing in front of her like a ghost brought to life. Tim enters the scene, frowning at the sight of Finn. "You've got some nerve coming back here," he mutters. His tone is sharp, protective, the way it always is when someone threatens the people he loves. Amy quickly steps in, not wanting another argument, but the damage is done. The air is thick with old grudges and new questions. Later that day, Amy walks along the fence line alone. The wind is cold, carrying the scent of rain and the sound of distant thunder. She thinks about Finn's words about needing help, and part of her wants to believe him. But another part remembers the hurt. At Heartland, forgiveness is never simple. It takes more than apologies to rebuild trust. It takes time, patience, and faith. Back at the house, Jack and Lou talk quietly over dinner. Jack shakes his head. "You can't stop people from making their own mistakes," he says. "You can only be here when they realize it." Lou sighs, glancing toward the window where Amy's silhouette stands under the fading light. "She's been through enough, Grandpa," she whispers. "I don't want her heart breaking again." The sky darkens. A storm rolls in, the kind that always mirrors the emotions inside the ranch. Lightning flashes, and for a brief moment, the screen shows Amy standing alone, rain pouring down, her face unreadable. She whispers something to herself, words drowned by thunder, but they're words the audience can feel. Maybe some wounds never heal, but maybe that's okay. The camera pans back to the ranch as rain hits the ground, washing away dust and secrets alike. The voiceover closes the section softly. Sometimes, the past returns not to haunt us, but to test if we've truly moved on. At Heartland, every storm has a lesson, and Amy's storm has just begun. The rain lingers into the morning, coating the ranch in a silver mist. The fields glisten, and the air feels heavy with memories. Amy stands by the barn, watching the clouds clear. She hasn't slept much. Her mind keeps replaying the moment Finn appeared, his voice, his eyes, the apology he didn't quite say. Every drop of rain that falls seems to echo her heartbeat. She tells herself she's fine, but deep down, she knows that seeing him again has opened an old wound that never truly healed. Inside the barn, Shadow paces restlessly. The storm had frightened him, and Amy knows exactly how he feels, trapped between fear and trust. She reaches out a hand, letting him smell her palm before she touches his mane. "You're safe," she whispers, her voice trembling just a little. "We both are." The horse calms, and for a moment, there's peace. But Amy's eyes betray her. They hold the sadness of someone who's trying to convince herself of something she doesn't believe. Meanwhile, Jack is out fixing a broken fence post, his hands steady despite the cold wind. He doesn't talk about feelings much, he never has, but his silence speaks volumes. He's been watching Amy from a distance, giving her space while quietly holding the family together, as he always does. He knows that every generation of Bartletts and Flemings has faced heartbreak on this land. He knows, too, that the only way to heal is to keep working, to keep showing up, even when it hurts. When Lou walks over with coffee, she finds him lost in thought. "She's not a little girl anymore," Jack says quietly, wiping rain from his hat. "I know," Lou replies, "but it doesn't make watching her struggle any easier." Jack sighs, glancing toward the barn. "She'll find her way. She always does. Heartland has a way of mending what's broken, just not always the way we expect." Later, Lou sits by the fireplace, her laptop open but ignored. She's been trying to balance business plans and family chaos, but her mind keeps drifting to her sister. She thinks about how Amy has always been the strong one, the one who carries everyone else's pain without complaint. Lou wonders when someone will finally carry Amy's. The firelight flickers against her face as she whispers, "Maybe being strong all the time isn't strength at all." Out in the stable, Finn returns, quietly this time. He helps Amy with the feed, neither of them saying much. The silence between them is thick but not hostile, more like two people learning how to breathe the same air again. When he finally speaks, his voice is gentle. "I didn't just leave because I wanted to," he says. "I had to." Things got complicated, and I thought staying away was the right thing. Amy doesn't look up. She just keeps brushing Shadow's coat, her hand steady. You could have told me, she says softly. You didn't have to disappear. Finn nods, guilt clear in his face. You're right, he admits, but I didn't know how to face you after what happened. There's a pause, not awkward, but heavy with truth. Amy finally looks at him. Her eyes aren't angry. The morning after the storm, Heartland seems to breathe again. The sky stretches wide and blue, the air sharp with the smell of wet earth. Horses graze quietly in the fields, their reflections dancing on puddles left behind by the rain. Everything looks calm, but Amy knows better. Calm never lasts here. It's only the pause before something big, before the kind of moment that changes everything. She's in the arena with Shadow, guiding him through gentle steps. The horse hesitates, then suddenly bolts wild, panicked, his fear bursting out like thunder. Amy reacts instantly, but he's too fast. Shadow crashes against the fence, splintering wood. The noise draws everyone outside. Lou rushes out of the house, Jack drops his tools, and Finn runs toward the arena, shouting Amy's name. The scene unfolds in seconds. Chaos and fear blending into one. Shadow's reins are tangled, his eyes wide with terror. Amy's voice trembles as she speaks to him, steady but desperate. Easy, easy boy. I'm here. She edges closer, heart pounding, her hand reaching for his muzzle. Everyone watches in silence. Lou bites her lip, tears forming, while Jack grips the fence rail so tightly his knuckles turn white. Finn stands just behind Amy, ready to jump in, but she holds up a hand. This is her battle. For a tense moment, it feels like Shadow might break free. His hooves strike the dirt, his muscles shake. Then slowly, he stops fighting. Amy places her hand against his neck, whispering softly. Her voice is barely audible, but it's enough. The horse exhales, trembling but calm. The arena falls quiet again, except for the soft sound of Amy's breathing. Finn steps closer, his eyes full of something he hasn't shown in a long time: respect, maybe even awe. You haven't changed, he says quietly. You still find a way to calm the storm. Amy doesn't respond. She's staring at Shadow, but her thoughts are far away. The truth hits her then: she wasn't just taming a horse. She was facing her own fear, her own pain. Shadow wasn't the one who needed trust. She was. Jack walks up slowly, his expression softer than usual. You did good, he says, his voice deep and proud. You both did, Amy nods, wiping a tear she didn't realize had fallen. Lou hugs her from behind, whispering, don't scare us like that again. Amy forces a smile, but it doesn't reach her eyes. Something in her heart has shifted. Later that evening, as the sun sets behind the hills, Amy sits alone on the fence line. Finn approaches quietly, the air between them still fragile but warmer now. He sits beside her, not too close, just enough to be there. You were right, he says. I should have stayed. I should have trusted us. Amy looks out at the horizon, her voice soft. Sometimes love isn't about staying, Finn. It's about finding your way back when everything falls apart. He nods, and for a long moment, they sit in silence, two souls who've been broken and mended more times than they can count. The sky glows orange and gold, the same color as the first morning they met. Then, without warning, Amy's phone buzzes. She picks it up, her face changing as she reads the message. Her heart sinks. Whatever peace she just found vanishes in an instant. It's about Lindy, she whispers. Finn's eyes widen. What happened? Amy doesn't answer. She's already running toward the house, the setting sun casting long shadows behind her. Jack and Lou look up from the porch, worry written all over their faces. The voiceover deepens, the music swelling as tension rises. In Heartland, peace never lasts. Just when you think you've healed, life finds a way to test your strength again. And this time, the test will hit closer to home than anyone could imagine. The screen fades to black as the sound of distant thunder rolls in again, not from the sky, but from the weight of what's coming next. The night settles over Heartland like a heavy blanket. Inside the house, the mood is tight and uneasy. Lindy is in her room resting, a doctor's voice still echoing through Amy's mind. It was close, but she'll be okay. Those words should bring relief. Yet Amy can't shake the fear that something might change again without warning. The house is too quiet. Even the old floorboards seem to hold their breath. Amy sits by Lindy's bedside, watching her daughter sleep. The small rise and fall of Lindy's chest is the only thing keeping her grounded. Her hand shakes slightly as she brushes a strand of hair from Lindy's face. Every memory of the day plays in slow motion: the phone call, the drive, the moment she almost lost the one thing that still made her feel whole. She has faced grief before, but nothing hits harder than the thought of losing her child. Downstairs, Jack and Lou speak in low voices over cold coffee. Lou's hands fidget around the cup, her eyes red from tears she has tried to hide. Jack leans back in his chair, staring at the fireplace. He doesn't say much, he rarely does, but his silence is full of meaning. He's been here before. The long nights of worry, the fear that the people you love most might slip away. Finally, he speaks, his voice rough but steady. "She'll be all right, Lou." Amy's stronger than she knows. She always has been. Lou nods, but her expression doesn't ease. "Being strong shouldn't mean suffering alone," she whispers. Jack gives a small, sad smile. "That's true. But around here, we don't get to choose when life tests us. We just hold on until the storm passes." Outside, Finn waits on the porch. He's been there for hours, hands in his pockets, eyes fixed on the dark horizon. The rain has started again, light but steady. It runs down his jacket like tears he won't let fall. He wants to go inside, to check on Amy, to say something that might help, but he's not sure